Good evening internets, and welcome to episode 2 of Tech Royale. First of all, let me say thank you very much for all of the kind comments and shares that people have given me on Facebook. It's very much appreciated. This is indeed episode 2. Yes, I've not got bored of it already. So I'm going to launch into today's episode. Apologies for not getting it up at the weekend. Really wasn't feeling too great yesterday. Now, currently one of the most exciting technology events, bar CES, is on the go in Barcelona. Mobile World Congress is underway as we speak. We've already seen some rather large announcements from Sony and also from Asus. To talk about Sony first, they've introduced some new Xperia smartphones that have letters to designate them. They really do seem to be trying to make the naming convention as confusing as possible, which is unfortunate. They look very nice. They have a thin clear metallic strip across the bottom where the Android buttons are, despite the fact they're launching with Ice Cream Sandwich. I thought Ice Cream Sandwich was going to see the end of the Android, either hard keys or capacitive keys, and I thought this was quite a good thing. I thought it helped with a nice design language, because part of the nice design language of the iPhone has always been the single button. It made it look very sort of elegant and uncluttered, and along the way with the early versions of Android we've seen some truly cheap and tacky button implementations, and I was thinking, great, Ice Cream Sandwich, get rid of the buttons, it'll look pretty slick. But it seems that manufacturers seem to want to hold on to the buttons even with their first round of Ice Cream Sandwich phones. Maybe the phones have been in development for longer than Ice Cream Sandwich was on the table. I certainly hope that's the case. Obviously, not having seen these new Sony phones in the flesh, I can't attest to how nice they look in real life. I'm slightly concerned that this sort of thin clear strip with silver behind it at the bottom could look a bit cheap and tacky, like a dodgy Chinese rip-off, but we'll have to wait till I see it in the flesh. Asus have announced 2 cracking products. Asus is, I feel at the moment, a little bit where Samsung was a good few years ago. You know, one of the smaller Far East technology firms that really seems to be coming out with some cracking products and concepts these days. Firstly, the worst kept secret that they had was the pad phone, which can also be referred to as the Motorola Atrix done properly. We know the Motorola Atrix, the dual-core smartphone that becomes a laptop, except it just really becomes a very uninspiring, jerky and slow web browsing device. It's not really a true laptop. The pad phone is a 4.3-inch dual-core ice cream sandwich smartphone, which has a tablet dock. Slaps into the back of the dock, thus giving you a 10-inch ice cream sandwich tablet that then docks into its own keyboard, like the Transformer. So this is the pad phone. So you've got phone into tablet into laptop. As well, there is a pen accessory for writing on the screen, like seems to be, you know, reasonably popular with tablets these days. After we completely got rid of it with capacitive screens, it's sort of almost coming full circle. But the pen accessory can be used as a phone. So you're using it in either tablet mode or laptop mode, and the phone rings, because obviously it's stuck into the back of the tablet. So rather than saying, oh, I've got to use it in a hands-free kind of configuration with the speakerphone, you can just push a button on the pen and pick it up and hold it to your ear. Now, I think this is absolutely fantastic. This is almost like, you know, the sort of the Thunderbirds and or Dick Tracy sort of cheap watch phone gadgets, and it really appeals to the 7-year-old in me, and I would completely go for that usage paradigm. The one central device that expands up and up and up. So you're just out and about during the day, you have the phone, or if you're at home, you'd be sitting using the tablet, or if you're going on the train, you can put it all together and have the full kit and caboodle. So that is a product that's really exciting me. I think its usage paradigm is great, to have one device that can sort of cover multiple items. And Asus has already proved with the Transformer Prime and the original Transformer that they can do a decent laptop hinge. The Transformer Prime's getting an update as well, the Transformer Prime Infinity. This is getting a Tegra 3 quad core, or 4+1 core as NVIDIA would like us to call it now. But it's also getting a currently iPad beating full 10-inch 1080p screen, 1920 by 1080. You know, very, very high pixel density. As I spoke about in Tech Royale 1, I do think the iPad 3, its worst kept secret in tech history, is going to come with a Retina screen. So this is only ultimately going to come out slightly after the iPad 3, but it's really good from my point of view to see the Android tablets are not just sort of keeping up with Apple, but they must have had this in the works long enough for them to be pushing for it, making Android tablets seem like less of a Me Too product. I mean, still talking about usage paradigms, they still have the ability to dock with a keyboard, which the iPad 3 might have, but we don't know that yet. Whilst we're on the subject though, a lot of these Android tablets are coming with the 4+1 Tegra 3 core, which is great for a tablet, because a tablet at the end of the day is it's pretty much a computer, and you want as much horsepower in a tablet as possible because there's plenty of room for a battery in there. What I'm still not too impressed with, and I have yet to see a decent case for, is quad cores in smartphones. Hell, I'm not even that convinced about dual core in smartphones. I was very impressed with Microsoft when a lot of tech pundits were saying, oh well, Windows Phone 7, you know, doesn't support dual cores, doesn't support dual cores. Microsoft said, well, what's wrong with it on a single core? It's hugely optimized. It runs all the user interface through the graphics processor, and it's smooth as butter, and it's certainly, in my experience, a nicer, slicker user interface than Android by a long chalk. And I think even after having switched over to iOS a few months ago, I do miss quite a lot of the integration that Windows Phone had with messaging and social networks. I don't really think there's anything to touch it on the market. Sense can sometimes get pretty close, but there's nothing that feels as much of a part of the device that you're using as does Metro on Windows Phone 7. So yeah, I mean, the iPhone 4S is dragging around a dual-core A5, which they had to underclock to get the battery performance that they want. You know, what's the point? The second core really only seems to flex its muscles when you're playing Infinity Blade, and that still plays okay on the original iPhone 4 and on the iPad 1. So I'm not quite sure where this drive is coming from, and especially on Android, there are still dual-core smartphones that, because of the design of Android, that stutter just around the user interface. There's so much drive and effort being put into putting dual cores in smartphones, and it's an arms race that I can't see what the ultimate enemy is apart from battery life. Anyone who owns an Android phone is fully conversant with all the various snake oil task killers out there that purport to, you know, shut down background apps and save battery life in the desperate attempt to make the darn thing last the end of the day. God forbid you take it out of an evening, want to take a few photographs and show your mate something on YouTube. You're sitting in the pub and you sort of 9%, 8%, all that, you know, switch it back to 2G, you know, just so it lasts all the way to the end of the night. What a load of crap. Nokia, at least by getting on board with Windows Phone and its frugalness in terms of hardware resources management, are staying true to their roots in terms of high quality battery life management, which is, I think, one thing that Windows Phone 7, straight out of the gate as a completely new software stack, made Android, which was already 2.5, 3 years into its development cycle, look pretty poor by that point. And that's because of the nature of Android, which is, you know, something that I will talk about at great length. But suffice to say, the fact that there is no one company with an overall controlling interest. Yes, okay, it's Google and it's open source, but they don't exert anywhere near the control on it that Microsoft or Apple do. Microsoft is doing this right. Everyone who detracted from them and said, you know, Windows Phone 7, they're copying Apple and it's not a worthwhile way of doing it, I think are beginning to be proven wrong. Just to round off the phone chat, there's a bunch of stuff out from HTC, Sense 4 on Ice Cream Sandwich. HTC Android handsets tend not to excite me too much. I'd be interested to see what the battery life is. The big announcement for me is the new low-end Nokia Lumia, the 610, which uses the lowest spec hardware that we've seen in Windows Phone yet. It's only got 256 meg RAM and an 800 MHz processor, and this is where, when a lot of people said Microsoft and Nokia aren't a good mix, this will have been an agenda that Nokia has been pushing from day one, because they've always been able to scale. Admittedly, they did often put some very underpowered hardware behind Symbian, the N97 being an absolute prime example. The original version of that was an absolute dog. But I think it'll be a nice handset. I may end up picking one up for my father, because he's really wanting a touchscreen smartphone. He's not quite sure why, but he wants one, and this is going to launch at €189, which should mean that the old second-hand I've got an upgrade market and want to flog it on eBay should see a nearly new broken box Windows Phone for around 130, 140 quid, and it's a Nokia, so the build quality will at least be respectable. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that comes out. Well, that's about it for this week's episode of Tech Royale. There won't be one this weekend. I'm away visiting family, so there'll be one the week after. There may be an interim update this Friday about BT Infinity. Friday is the install date, and I am more than a little bit excited about improving the general reliability of my broadband connection, and also potentially nearly tripling the upload speed, which will make bringing Tech Royale to you that much easier. So take care, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Oh, and bring back Games Master.